What's up, everyone? Welcome to the weekly stream. Really excited to be here. Pumped for this recipe. If this is your first time joining, I make this recipe together. It's the first time I've ever made it. Kind of testing things out as we go. And it takes like 45 minutes or so. I love when people chat. So say hi, ask me questions about what I'm making, etc. And let's get started. Yeah. This is my favorite time of the week. This is an exciting recipe for me. I love making arepas. I haven't made them in a while. And skirt steak is like my absolute favorite type of meat. I have the steak here. And this is how it comes. I did trim a little fat, but this is a really great sort of fat content right here. You can see on the steak that the grain of the steak goes along this way. So later on, when we cut this steak, we're going to have to cut it this way. So it almost seems counterintuitive. And honestly, I see a lot of big name bloggers cutting the steak this way. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you have to go against the grain, to make it really tender and delicious. Thanks, Rich. It does look good. My mouth's already watering. Rich, I have this for you. Black pepper. You always say that I don't use enough black pepper in my cooking. And I get it. It is a thing that I use a lot less probably than more people. Hey, Vicky. Excited for your event later tonight. I'll be there. Thanks for tuning in. I put the salt, I put the black pepper, and now I have some ground cumin. And I'm really gonna cover this thing pretty well. Coriander. You ever notice the coriander is harder to get out? Or is that just me? Yeah, Rich, I always like to even just have one on hand in the freezer, honestly. It's a good one to just pull out whenever you especially now that it's getting warmer, throw it on the grill. So good. All right, flipping it over, and then do the same on the other side. Rich, would you have a description of what coriander tastes like to you? Because it's so funny. I feel like it smells like Fruit Loops. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but that's the smell I get from it. Little Fruit Loops. Lemon sherbet. All right, not too different. Yeah, it definitely has a sweetness to it. All right, so hit both sides with that. And I have this pan heating up. I'm just gonna put a little oil in. Top 3 unusual spices. What else is on your list? Coriander is not that unusual. But I get it, I guess. I'm gonna actually cut this in half first. It'll fit in the pan better. And then later on when we're slicing it, it'll make a lot more sense when we're cutting it against the grain. Maybe you do 3s actually. Not standard, yeah. Yeah, Rich, what else would I do? I guess a cast iron would probably be the best thing in this situation, but I usually use this same pan for most of my streams because it's easier just to work with in general. Yeah, cast iron probably is the best if you're not grilling it. So while these cook, okay, the same page, yeah. While these cook, I'm going to, the other two things I have to do is make the spicy guac sauce. It's actually an Argentinian sauce, maybe, and chili, and it's generally called guasacaca. I'm surprised it's not more popular. It has a lot of vinegar in it, and it can hold well in the fridge because of the acidity. It doesn't turn brown. I think the name might be a little weird for many Americans, but it's a delicious sauce. I'm going to throw this back here so that it can cook. That was smoked paprika. I like the smoky flavor of it. Yeah, thanks, Derek. Yeah, smoked paprika. Cayenne. I'm putting 2 habaneros into the avocado sauce. So I think if I threw that much cayenne on the steak as well, it might be not a great situation. A little too hot. So the sauce does look a little bit like guac in terms of the types of ingredients. It just is the ratio is much different. Yeah, habanero. I haven't really cooked with habaneros in a while. And remember back on Mapleton Street, I used to make almost every dish with habaneros. Just trying to murder our taste buds one by one. All the taste buds. And I'm not too worried about chopping this stuff up because there is going to be a blender involved. But you can do rough chops of everything, putting a little bit of onion in. I don't want a lot though. Here, let's get a little closer. I'm going to put the lime on here early because that's also going to help the avocado stay nice and green. I'm going to do 2 whole limes and then as well a little bit of vinegar. So it's more, like I said, more like a hot sauce than it is a guacamole. It's a little of both. Combination, mashup. I'm just going to flip those steaks real quick too. Those just need another minute or so. Thank you, Jasper. However, this is a family stream, or at least somewhat family. No, just kidding. Say whatever you want. I'm not going to moderate the Facebook stream. Here's the habaneros into the sauce here. And then I'm going to add a bunch of cilantro. Not a literal bunch, just a lot. My microphone cord is constantly attaching to the handles of my cabinet. And I'm just putting 1 clove of garlic in here. If you love garlic, which I do, you can add more, but when I'm using raw garlic, I tend to go light with it. I don't want it to be just like overpowered with garlic. And normally I would maybe grate the garlic, but because I'm blending this up, I'm just gonna chop it thin, and the blender will take care of it, the rest. What are you feeding your dog? Seems like pretty good. Pretty good dog food. Great, trying not to burn the house down. This is going to be a little loud, obviously. Actually, it's not. Last time I used a food processor, and I think we lost half the viewers. All right, I mean, that looks great. Great. Probably shouldn't do that. Usually what I do is this. Doing great, guys. Just wanted to convert back to this alternate setup. Only 1 plug over here. Something I didn't add to this, I realize now, is salt, I think. Thankfully, I have that right here. Joyce, I do have a recipe for this on my website, and it is in my upcoming book, as well as, I think, the Tacho book. But if you search, it's called, I have trouble saying it every time, Guasacaca. So if you search for that, you should be able to find it. You can use my site or any website. If you look for an Argentinian recipe, it may be a little more authentic than my version. Can you sing us a song? Helps with that noise. I have my good microphone set up this time, finally. It took me about 45 minutes to figure out. But the sound should sound a lot better for you all today. All right, so the last part of this, because I did the steak and I did the guasacaca, and now I have to make the arepas. And when you make arepas, use this thing right here, harina, P-A-N. When I first made arepas about 10 years ago, could not find that anywhere, but now I found it at almost every store. And, maybe I made it popular, I don't know. No, just kidding. I'm going to add a little salt to this. So the recipe for making these is actually right on the container itself. But that's just a simple ratio of water to the flour here. I actually like to make this with milk instead. To me, like using water, why not put flavor in when you can? So the first time I made this actually was on Guys Grocery Games. I was thinking about like buttermilk cornbread, and I used some buttermilk in there instead. And like I say, literally every week I just have oat milk here. So to make it more buttermilk-like, I'm just going to add a little bit of vinegar to it. And then stir it into the flour here. I think that's actually pretty good. I'm going to add a little oil to this pan. And my main tip for when you're making the arepas is you want them to be very thin. That's all. Because like the inside won't really cook that much, and the arepas are, I guess, kind of dense. So having them thin, and then you slice them a little bit like an English muffin. All right, this has come together pretty nicely. So I'm going to take some in my hand here and form basically a pancake. You want it to be round, and you want the edges to be like not like that. You want the edges to be smooth. So I think we're looking pretty good here. Oops, a piece went in. This pan is super hot, which is good. Thank you, Rich, for the warning. Actually, I have been burning stuff this week. Yesterday, Gina kept asking me what was going on. I'm just pressing this a little more because I think it's a little too thick. Just slightly. Sounds good, Rich. What were the flavors of the pork chop? So I have the steak here and this cool cutting board that has my name branded into it. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we're finding the grain. You can see it right here. So we're going the opposite way of the grain. And we're going to also cut it like this instead of just like that. No, this is more of a South American. Arepas are originated in Venezuela. And some of the sauces and stuff I'm making here, especially the spicy guacamole sauce, is a Chilean sauce. So it's more of a Latin American than Mexican. So just thin slices of the steak here. Oh, this looks like it's burning. Oops. Oh, actually, I'm happy with that. Could you see it? I guess I should taste this steak, huh? Since everyone wants me to. Can you hear me chewing? This is so good, though. Rise and Sparkle doesn't like anything burnt. Well, you know. This, to me, isn't burnt. It might look burnt. But see, it's not black, it's just brown. Steak looking great. Rich, why are you saying that? Gina's been saying that to me all week. What is that from again? Oh, thank you. All right, see, looks great. Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, I usually put the recipe up about a week after. However, all these individual things are already on my website or just on the internet if you look for guasacaca or arepas or just like a grilled skirt steak. And that steak, it's really that touch of coriander that makes it taste so good. Obviously, be careful while you're doing this. You don't want to stab yourself. Great advice. I know. It's very hot, too. Calm, thank you. Last week, someone said they would use my voice to help them fall asleep. But, you know, honestly, the reason I love, let me put that down for a sec. The reason I love hang out with you guys on Thursday afternoons. Just before this, I did a cooking demo on TV, and it's like 4 minutes, and you have to have everything ready. It takes an hour to prep, and then you're just like boom, 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 done. And you don't get to really like enjoy, relax, hang out, interact with people. And that's what I love. So I'm super happy to do this every time. After I finish my segment, I was like, glad that's done so I can get ready to do the actual good part of the day. So again, just thank you all for being here. And I'm excited for next week too, because there, I guess, will be an announcement next week. Yeah, meals cook. This is what this is. It's like cooking at home with all of you, with all my close friends. All right, we're gonna bring this a little closer. So first of all, I tasted a little bit of that, and it's very good. Rich, you already know the announcement. Are you guys getting dizzy yet? Cool. So we have this delicious, where's my camera? The delicious arepa, a little nice browning on it. Hey Manny, thanks for tuning in. How cold is it right now in Newfoundland? Probably only like 10 degrees colder. I had a bunch of friends from there when I lived in Bermuda. And they were some of the first people that tasted my blog's food. This still, it's not low enough, but that's okay. Anyways, we have this sauce here. And to recap, the sauce was avocado, lime, apple cider vinegar, garlic, habaneros, cilantro, some onion, salt and pepper. And I'm just gonna pop the sauce right here. So that looks great, right? Too close. Street food idea. However, it's been a street food for many, many years. It's not my street food idea. You would make a lot of money though. The best place I've ever eaten arepas is Caracas Arepa Bar in New York. Really, really tasty arepas. Also, if you live in the Boston area, where a lot of people who follow me do, you can get really good ones at Orinoco. They have like 3 or 4 locations. But yeah, I mean, really tasty stuff. Man, so all the parts of that are super delicious. The corn cake arepa, it's tender, it's flavorful, it has enough salt, it has that nice corn flavor, We have the nice charred areas that add so much flavor, honestly. Then you have the steak, super tender, really steak forward, not like marinated or anything, just has that heavy spice rub on the outside. that just enhances the steak flavor. Then you have the guasacaca, avocado hot sauce. You know what? I could have put more habaneros in there. I was expecting to kind of like get blown away a little bit by the sauce, by the heat, but it's not that hot to me. So I may add a little more before I eat this dish for dinner. So let's see. When you do the taste, switch the camera. You know, there is a way to do that. So I will figure that out. Especially at the beginning and end, I could swoop the cameras. That way I can be like, hey, when I chat, and then switch them back. Good idea. Thank you, Rich. Let me know if you do make it, because I love when people make these things. I always say, oh, wait, so where did what drink would you pair? Yeah, I mean, any strong IPA goes really well with steak, and I'm not just saying that because it's like the trendy thing to drink right now. But you know, it depends on what you like. You know, what would be really tasty with this is a what is that cocktail with cachaca? Caipirinha. Caipirinha. If you've never had one, it's similar to a mojito, but a mojito or a caipirinha would be so good with this. Really delicious. You know, I'm always just going to default to beer. Maybe I should make a caipirinha tonight. You need cachaca. Doesn't really work as well with rum. So, now you've just heard me chewing for 2 minutes. Thank you all for watching, for hanging out with me. As always, I said it 8 times today. It's my favorite time of the week. And this is just such a classic, delicious recipe, honestly. I did make something similar on Guy's Grocery Game, so if you have Hulu, you can watch that episode. And otherwise, catch this recipe maybe on my website next week. Really did take a half hour. Like, I did everything fully from scratch. I only had brought out the ingredients before, so. But then again, I did only make one. So you would take longer to make all the arepas. So, great. Well, I will see you all for another round next week. And until then, enjoy. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook,